Have you ever felt as though life is asking you to move faster than your soul can keep up? We live in a world that celebrates speed. We are told to produce more, achieve more, become more, move faster. Without realizing it, we begin measuring our life against everyone else's timeline. We compare our beginning to someone else's middle, our quiet season to someone else's harvest. And before long, we feel as though we are falling behind. But what if we are not behind at all? What if God has simply invited us to grow at the pace our soul were created to grow? Over the past year, I come to realize that one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is permission to honor God's rhythm instead of chasing the world's urgency. For a long time, I believed that strength meant pushing harder, trying harder, doing more. Yet the harder I pushed, the more disconnected I became from the quiet peace I longed for. Everything began to change through a simple practice. Every morning, I pray, I meditate, I walk in nature, not because I was trying to become more productive, not because I was measuring results, but because I want to spend time with God. Day after day, season after season, those quiet mornings slowly reshape my life. Not through one dramatic breakthrough, but through thousands of faithful moments. I've discovered that transformation really happens all at once. It's quietly formed through ordinary moments, faithfully repeated. One prayer, one walk, one breath, one act of surrender, again and again and again. Samuel Johnson once wrote, "The great work is not accomplished by strength, but by perseverance." Those words remind me that lasting transformation is really built through intensity. It's built through faithfulness. In a world that feels increasingly loud and hurried, I found myself longing for something different. I long for the stillness of God's presence, because God is never rushed. His pace is intentional, not instinct. What we often call delay may actually be preparation. While we hope for quick results, God is quietly building deep roots capable of sustaining a lifetime. Nature reminds me of this every morning. The sunrise never hurries. The trees never compare themselves. Flowers don't bloom because another flower bloomed first. Everything unfolds according to the rhythm God designed. Perhaps we are meant to live that way too. One lesson I've been learning recently is this. Honoring our pace requires moving from panic to peace. And that begins with releasing comparison. God's timing is deeply personal. Your path is different on purpose. No one else has been given your story, your calling, or your season. The second invitation is to embrace becoming. Every quiet season is shaping something within you that success alone never could. Character, patience, compassion, wisdom. These are often formed when no one is watching. The third invitation is to choose alignment over urgency. Instead of asking, how quickly can I get there? Perhaps we ask, am I walking in step with God today? Recently, I made a small decision that reflects this lesson. For more than a year, I faithfully created 2 videos every week. Part of me believed that producing more meant serving more. But during prayer, I sense a gentle invitation to slow down. At first, I wondered whether I was falling behind. Then I realized something beautiful. I wasn't doing less. I was making more room to pray, more room to write, more room to care for my family, more room to listen. Sometimes honoring God's rhythm isn't stepping backward, it's finally walking at a pace your soul has quietly needed all along. I've also realized that the greatest trap of our modern world isn't simply busyness. It's busyness that keeps us living only on the surface of ourselves. When we slow down, ordinary moments become sacred invitation. Watching the sunrise reminds us that God's mercy are new every morning. When we are weary, we discover we can rest in Him. A quiet walk becomes a conversation. A deep breath becomes a prayer. The smallest moments often become the places where we meet God most deeply. Our lives are formed by the small things repeated each day. The direction of our soul is shaped by the quiet choices faithfully made over time. So perhaps today, you don't need to hurry. You don't need to compare. You don't need to force the next chapter. You simply need to keep walking faithfully. God has never been late in your story. You simply ride in a different rhythm than our impatience expects. Trust His rhythm, honor your pace, and remember you were never created merely to survive. You were created to shine, reflecting His love, His peace, His presence, one faithful day at a time. Thank you.